The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't scare me!
Milts is freaking today, Englishman. My name is King Prime. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at another brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection figure, that being the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Attack of the Clones Phase 1 Clone Trooper. Now, before we take a look at the figure, let's take a look at what it comes with. Of course, up at the top we have that nice blood red title for the figure that we see on every single Vintage Collection card back. This one, of course, is Attack of the Clones. It has a nice photo of that iconic panning shot of all of the clones assembled on the parade ground before they go off. I think it's before they go off to Geonosis. Again, it's been a while since I've seen Attack of the Clones. Of course, there's a yellow nameplate that corresponds with the yellow pill for the backing, as well as the Kenner logo. On the back here, we have that very nice old-style backing that we saw a lot on the older Vintage Collection figures from the first run of the wave from 2010 to 2013, and now it is back here on the new late 2023, early 2024 figures, which is very nice to see. Of course, there's a little description there if you want to read it about the Phase 1 Clone Trooper. There's some legal jargon, and that is about it. I say it in every single one of these videos, my friends, but you only really care about the packaging if you're a carded or boxed collector, of which I am not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that is just what I'm going to do. Freeze frame. Freeze frame unfreeze, and here is the Clone Trooper out of the packaging. But before we take a look at him, let's take a look at what he comes with. Of course, up first, we have his DC-15 blaster rifle. We see with a lot of clones, this has been packaged since Attack of the Clones in the original line from 2002, and it is no different in the Vintage Collection line. As you can see up close here, we do have some nice greebly detail going through the stock on the handguard, as well as on the barrel with the very funny upside-down bayonet lug. It's almost what it looks like. It's got a little side part here for the power pack, and either the flashlight or the grappling hook. I don't remember how the hell these things work, man. They changed how it works in so many different ways throughout the Clone Wars that I'm not even going to try to remember it, because it's all been retconned to hell before, and so it doesn't really matter. Moving on from that, we do, of course, have the DC-15 carbine, which is very nice to see. It is just a shorter version. It would have been nice if the stock unfolded, but it's fine that it doesn't. Nice port for the power pack there, as well as some nice greebly details on the handle and on the barrel, stuff like that. As you can see, it is just a little bit drilled out. Iron sights are up front, of course. More details, and that is about that. Of course, the clone can hold both of these weapons, and he can hold them very well. He can only really hold them in his right hand, of course, because his left hand doesn't have a trigger finger, but he can hold the DC-15 rifle in his right, as well as the DC-15 carbine. Now, I don't think that these are reuses of any previously released weapons. I think these are actually new molds for this figure, which is very nice. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're both made out of a relatively sturdy but also kind of bendy soft plastic. There's not really much to say about those more than that. So moving on to the Clone Trooper himself. This is, of course, just a Phase 1 Clone Trooper, and I personally prefer the Phase 1 Clone Troopers. We've taken a look at a few clones on this channel. Most of them are Phase 2, except for the original 4-pack. And this figure is a completely new mold, I think, based off of the Andor figure, which I don't have, unfortunately. That one never hit shelves around me, so I was kind of sad about that. But this one I found for a snag on GameStop, and I was very happy with how much I paid for it. Of course, he does have all of the details you'd expect a Phase 1 Clone Trooper to have on his helmet, including the side dashes, the ports on the sides of the helmets, the gray and the black, and even the little red light on the fin. Of course, there is the same kind of detailing on the back plate, as well as on the belt and on the abdomen. He has a communicator on his wrist, which is very nice to see. And even the bottom of his feet are painted, which is very nice. I think that this is a very well painted figure, as just, for just a shiny. Of course, the helmet is removable, as I love to see. And This clone has a good likeness to Temuera Morrison. I think that this likeness is better than the Jango Fett. However, my copy is just a little bit off. I don't know what it is about it, but it is just a little bit scuff. As you can see, his eyebrow is, yeah, it's kind of red. It's not supposed to be like that. And his other eyebrow is kind of in the middle of that red-brown spectrum. His eyes aren't misprinted, I don't think, but he is kind of perpetually looking right, which is kind of strange. I've never seen anything like that. Of course, he just does have a black military haircut, which is pretty standard for clone troopers, and that's about it. He looks fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. I would much rather do if this was a better printed copy. I'd much rather do a head swap of this figure with the Jango Fett. I just think that this one is such a better likeness to how Temuera Morrison looks in real life. Of course, face print notwithstanding. But moving on from the detailing, the clone trooper does, of course, have a dumbbell joint at the head, even though you can't really tell. You can get just a little bit of an yeah, you really can't get anything outside. But otherwise, the ball joint, you can go hog wild with it. It's just a shame because you can't really get any articulation beyond that, just because of how the neck peg is shaped. He does also have a full range of motion at the shoulders, and this is some of the articulation that I love the most. His shoulder pads are actually made out of a soft plastic. So you can lift the shoulder up and have the arm go all the way out and then rotate it down and go all the way around. That is ingenuity. That is fantastic. I love that. Nothing at the upper bicep, however. He does have a elbow bend, which can double as a swivel, as you can see. He has an in and out joint at his left hand and an up and down at his right, which is perfect for a gun-wielding figure. Of course, this does double as a swivel as well. He does have a fantastic diaphragm joint, which can go all the way around and all that, you know, oh yeah, oh, so much articulation there. So he can, of course, get his Clone Wars reps in, which is very nice to see. He does actually have a swivel at the waist proper, which is very rare, but it is there, so that's fantastic. I absolutely love that that's included. I guess because of the way the abdomen is connected to the hips, that it allows it to rotate, so that's very nice to see. But the biggest draw of this mold is that the hips have ball joints, and mind the angle here, so you can get a full range of articulation at the hips. In, out, up, down, whatever you want, this clone can do it. Of course, he does also have a upper thigh swivel as well. A about 90-degree knee bend, as well as a down on the ankles and up on the ankle, and a nice ankle pivot. So overall, phenomenal. Probably some of the best, if not the best figure posability I've seen on a clone figure at any scale, including 6-inch. Hell, including 12-inch. This figure can do any pose you want to pull off. I think that this is absolutely fantastic. Before I give away too many of my final thoughts, before I even done the size comparison, let's move on to the size comparison freeze frame.
But Anakin, your allegiance is to actual books.
I'm in it for the spice.
No, Anakin. No, Anakin, no.
So I had a fistful.
Freeze frame on freeze, and here is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper next to our previous Star Wars The Vintage Collection review. Deluxe Jango Fett, this absolute piece of shit that I cannot stand, and I still haven't burned, apparently. Here he is next to the golden standard of action figures himself, Dark Times Darth Vader, who is on a base, but you can get the idea. Here he is next to a Cheruvian Hax skeleton. Oh my god. And here he is next to a Mandalorian figure of my own design. As you can see, the clone is actually kind of short. He's definitely shorter than Jango, even by only a fraction of the head. He's shorter than the Vitruvian Hax skeleton, and of course he's shorter than Vader and the Mandalorian, even though Vader is on a base. If Vader wasn't on a base, he'd still tower over him, but I digress. Very strange that the clone is this short. Not that I dislike it, it's going to be a perfectly good army builder, and so I don't really give a shit, because this figure's already proven itself in many other ways. That's pretty much it for the size comparison. Let's move on to my final thoughts so I can tell you exactly what I think about this figure. Freeze frame.
No!
Freeze Freeze from Unfreeze. This thing is in the upper echelon of figures that I have reviewed on my channel in the past few months, and maybe even ever. It has phenomenal articulation, good detailing, and an adequate number of accessories that make it worth the price point, especially since I got this for a steal. This is a quintessential army builder, and I really wish that they would have dropped this mold back a couple of years ago, so that when I got the 4-pack, I would have gotten 4 of these things instead of the old VC45 mold, which is still an alright mold, but this thing just goes above and beyond. Rocker ankles, ball-jointed hips, dumbbell head, soft plastic shoulders that can bend up. I mean, are you kidding me? This thing is the quintessential clone trooper. Not to mention that Phase 1 is my preferred aesthetic for clones. This thing is going to be amongst the front row of my clone ranks on my shelf. It's so good, and I will not hold back my thoughts about that. Hasbro did a phenomenal job with this figure. I think that you should absolutely get it. Whether you are a fan of the prequels or just the shows or whatever, if you're even just a casual collector, you should pick this up because it's that good. But if you like this figure, you like the clones, you like the prequels, you like the Clone Wars, you like Star Wars in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share it with Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you enjoy the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. It keeps helping the channel grow, keeps helping me pump out this content. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, peace.